Hello and welcome to Real Opinions, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Basement, which is a film I watched for inexplicable reasons. I really don't know why I do this to myself. I don't get paid. I don't get any enjoyment from it. No one watches these. I just do it. It's not working out well. So The Basement is about a group of rowdy teenagers. They're having this extravagant party in an apartment complex, and after receiving a noise complaint they kick everyone out and decide that, well, party's over, so what's the second best thing we'll do? A seance? As you can expect, this causes weird shit to start happening, and before long they are led into the titular basement, which is this labyrinthine, maze-like environment beneath the apartment complex that seems to be the home of some kind of strange, mask-wearing, demonic killer person. If it sounds like I don't really know what this film's about, that's because I'm not really sure. This was one of the most confusing and yet straightforward and conventional films I've seen in a long time. Like, you hear that premise and you think, okay, so it's a straightforward slasher. Yeah, so why don't I understand it? I think a big part of it is to do with the style. It takes a special type of ineptitude to make you confused as to whether or not you're watching a found footage film or not. I mean, anyone who's watched a film ever should be able to tell what a normal film looks like and what a found footage film looks like. If you're making a found footage film, the central conceit is that everything's presented as if it is the POV of a camera within the film, and one of the characters is filming everything instead of like a professional film crew.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Stop. Aww.
There are lots of ways you could communicate this. You could have shaky camera work, or you could use like awkward office-style zooms, thereby signifying that it's not being filmed by a professional crew.
Is this thing on?
Look out!
Babe, it's on my camera. I don't know if it's the on button or the zoom button. All right, here. I think I got it. Is this on?
Oh, perfect. Now we can have a nice record of you getting run over.
Or you could, for example, have jarring, abrupt edits that sort of signify that a recording has started and then stopped and then started again.
Du bør egentlig få deg noe mat òg, altså.
Jeg er ikke så sulten. Jeg er litt sånn småegen.
That gives it a feeling like maybe this is a collection of raw clips that someone has found after a significant event, rather than something that's been edited together.
Stop, right here. This is perfect.
Really?
This is it.
Hey! Hello!
These are ways that you can make your film look like it is found footage, and communicate to the audience this is supposed to be footage that has been found, not a normal film. Usually you'd also have like naturalistic style acting, semi-improvised dialogue, gives everything a bit more of an authentic flavour so it doesn't seem staged or scripted.
No, you want to stay here, you want to film rocks, you want to look around, you want to fucking like...
Go!
Get this, you want to get that. Which way are we walking?
That way.
Dude, we're in the middle of the fucking woods. We're in the middle of the goddamn woods. We could walk anyway.
We're going this way because that's the way we've been going for a fucking day. We're going this way and that's it. We gotta come across something.
And I mean, if you really just want to hammer it home, you could just have a character directly address the fact that they're filming everything. It's not that hard. You just, you know, have the whole stop filming everything, put down the goddamn camera.
You stopped following me with the camera!
Or even text at the beginning of the film telling you that it's found footage. Conversely, if you're not doing a found footage film, you just don't do those things and make it normally. Simple, right? You'd fucking think so. So, apologies if all of that preamble seems a tad patronising, but no one explained it to the director of The Basement, apparently, because I can't tell if this film is found footage or not. Then again, I'd also say that no one explained character, story, coherence, or fun to him, so it starts off simple enough, because it clearly kind of sets up that it's going to be like a faux documentary, like Wreck. This is evidenced when a presenter addresses the camera, talking to it like I'm talking to you now, and acknowledges a film crew behind him. I'm like, okay, it's found footage. I didn't know that, but that's fine. The film then kind of continues for 5 minutes, and it maintains that style. Great. So far, so good. But then it cuts to a title sequence, one that is legally distinct from the opening of Seven, with music that is legally distinct from the music from Saw. Now, normally you don't put title sequence at the beginning of your found footage film, because that would imply someone had found the footage and put a title sequence in it. You kind of try to not draw attention to those things when you're doing a found footage film. But I just thought, okay, A, I've seen other found footage films do it before, to be fair. I don't think they should, but I've seen it. Or B, maybe that opening 5 minutes is just found footage and then the rest of the film won't be, and it's just like a vignette on its own. But then the credits finish and it's still found footage. At least I think it is. Because the thing is, it cuts back and we have wobbly camera work, someone from behind the camera speaking, and I'm like, okay, so someone's filming this. And then it cuts to the opposite side of a balcony from a perspective that doesn't belong to anyone, looking at the guy who I assumed was holding a camera, and he isn't holding a camera. Huh? The next 20 minutes of The Basement were some of the most oddly confusing moments of cinema I've ever seen. I kept going, is this found footage? Or is it just really, really bad? There's a particular party sequence that I think typifies this. It's shaky, it goes in and out of focus for like minutes at a time. It's all in this really horrible purple hue. The sound audio levels keep like peaking. It's like cutting disorientingly and zooming and swaying all over the place. And I thought, okay, so this is like someone drunk filming at a party, right? Isn't it? It makes the whole thing look hellish and like it resembles a nightmare. They've not acknowledged that anyone's filming this. And the film kind of went on like this, with me going, I don't know what's going on. It wasn't until the 30-minute mark that I realised someone definitely had a camcorder, because they put it on a table and they pointed it somewhere, and then we were presented with the POV. And that was when it clicked for me. I went, oh no. It's one of those films that switches back and forth between the two. Oh boy. Because what you get then is the worst of both worlds. If you're someone who has motion sickness and doesn't like found footage, then you're going to hate this because it has the found footage elements. If you're someone who likes found footage, you're going to hate this because it doesn't stick to it and it keeps like shattering the immersion. If you're someone with eyes, you'll probably hate this film because it is one of the most incoherent, visually obnoxious things I've ever seen. But I just don't understand what the purpose of this approach is. You can do found footage, and what that can serve is you can immerse the audience in like a character's perspective, or it can make it feel real. But if you cut away from that, then A, that immersion's gone, and B, you shatter any illusion that this is authentic, and you draw attention to the fact that it's a film. Or you could make a normal film, in which case you'd have the benefit of it's not shaky cam, it's going to be a lot more clear and visually bearable, and also you can cut around between different lines of action without having to justify why there's a camera around. The Basement has the worst of both of these. It's shaky and unwatchable, but it's also not kind of sticking to its found footage conceit, so you don't feel like you're watching found footage anymore. It's a bizarre, and they have to justify why someone's carrying a camera all the time, even though they very rarely use their footage. When we have something like Cloverfield, you have to explain and think of an excuse for why someone's carrying a camera the whole time. And that is one of the big problems with found footage films. It's like, why is he still filming? Why is he still filming? But sometimes it's just necessary. But if you're doing something like this, then there's no need to. You just hindered yourself with that stupid convention. But at the same time, you're not even utilising the found footage properly. It's like they don't even deploy it with any strategic direction or discretion. It's just like they just throw it in anywhere. They don't use it for set pieces or for moments where it would be cool to see something in POV. They just throw in random insert shots of someone opening a fucking door or just the camera gliding to the floor. I'll do that. I'm going to put those in and you can see what watching this film is like. And the thing is, the parts that aren't found footage confused me. This is why I was so confused, because the parts that aren't found footage look worse. They are more shaky, more unprofessional and shoddy. They frequently go out of focus. Often you can't hear what anyone's saying because the audio levels are so poor and the sound design and the mixing is just awful.
Oh, look, Mr. Cronitz, we're just done with our fun and exams and want to have some fun.
I know. That's all you people want to do nowadays. You little fuckers is have fun.
Yeah, they should have just made the whole thing found footage, because at least they'd have had an excuse for why it was so fucking terribly made. And the thing is that this non-committal relationship with found footage isn't the only thing wrong with The Basement, not by a country mile. There is so much wrong with this film. For a start, the horror sequences. They can't be scary. You'll never be frightened by them because you can't tell what's going on. It's so incoherent. Every attack sequence is this. The killer jumps out of the darkness, the camera goes... You're cutting around, just hearing screeching, and you can't tell what the fuck is going on. There's just commotion where presumably something's happening, because when it finishes, there's just someone dead on the floor. And honestly, there was one particular moment, actually, that had me asking all 5 W questions. I was honestly asking, what's happening? Who is it happening to? Why is it happening? Where is everyone in relation to each other? And when did they get there? I was so baffled by what was just a simple, straightforward attack. Someone jumps out, stabs someone. Should be clear. Utterly bewildering in this film. There are just like random things obscuring the frame. I'm gonna have to demonstrate because I can't really explain exactly what I mean. But like, for example, let's see. Here's a stapler, right? Here's a stapler. This is what a shot looks like when it's in the basement. Now I need to wobble it more. This isn't the found footage shot. This is just what a normal shot looks like. You're just like, what is that covering up half the frame? And you'll never know. You'll never know. At least I told you this was a stapler. In the basement, it's just a mystery. It's a fucking... Ooh. Outside of the unbelievably bad presentation, there are just traditional problems with the film. Like, this is all quite exceptional stuff that you'd think is nitpicking, but here it isn't. But there are also normal problems too. The acting is unbelievable, and the script. The script was the thing that kept me going because the script was funny. The presentation side of things was genuinely unpleasant and genuinely made this hard to watch, but the script was something else. It had leaps of logic that wouldn't have been out of place in a Lewis Carroll novel, to be honest. There were character arcs that were just so extreme. Like, one guy goes from, like, a supernatural skeptic. He goes from that to, in the next scene, the bloody Witchfinder General, like, setting fire to someone because he thinks they're a demon. And that's in the space of a scene. As well as that, some of the dialogue was so amazing that I made a list. Now, I want full disclosure here. Some of these lines I think are pretty exact. Some of them, because the audio levels are so bad, I'm not sure if I got them verbatim, but I got the gist, I can assure you. He just told you something about a stupid question. I don't think these stupid sentences are going to work. Context for this one, they find some like gunk on a wall. At this point there's no reason to believe there's anything supernatural going on, but they find this gunk and one character goes, look, it's ectoplasm. And another character goes, what? And then the other character returns with, and I quote, it's a fact, Google it. There's a fight where one character is disrespecting the other one's girlfriend. They eventually kind of patch things up, and the one who was insulting the other guy's girlfriend says, let's move, Oedipus. Do they know what Oedipus means? I had to think this one over for a long time. Like, no, there's nothing, no way that can be relevant, no matter what I think of. After witnessing someone being disemboweled right in front of them, don't worry, it's gonna be fine. So they're walking down a corridor, and there's nothing behind them, and someone goes, wait, the creature could be behind us, and they go, no, it'd have to knock down walls to get behind us. Why? What's the connection between a stranger's accent and magic? Don't we have more important things to be thinking about than a stranger's accent and magic? Someone says something like, oh, my cat never used to do this, it's like misbehaving, and the other character replies with, planes never used to crash. Huh? It was honestly unwatchable in a literal sense. There were points of the film that were just, I couldn't see anything. And it was inaudible a lot of the time too. So it's not worth it. Don't think, oh, this could be funny. It's just unpleasant. Normally when you say 1 out of 10 for a film, you'd feel a bit angry. I don't feel angry at this film. The reason I'm giving it a 1 out of 10 is because I cannot think of a single thing that it did competently.